Because my desire to help those with physical disabilities is matched only by my unquenchable desire to destroy, let me walk you through one of my hobbies, which is how to have and make and keep a fire. So the first thing you need to do is essentially gather your materials. So I will say for me, it's a bit of a trek to my backyard, specifically the fire pit. So I need to get my materials ready before I leave. So what that means is I need to go in and grab the, for example, matches. Now here's the thing. Once I have them, where do I put them? Because I don't have my hands free because I'll be using my hands to move. So the answer is a pocket. Unless you have a bigger one, if you have a bigger one or you're trying to carry more materials than just matches, like drinks, food, something like that. My son's on my foot plate. Then I would recommend maybe a bag, like a backpack or something like that. So here we are, we're setting off. This is my front porch. Note, I did bring my beverage here. And for me, I like to sort of tuck it between my legs. Depending on how the mug is situated and how tight it is, sometimes that will need some buffering from your hand where you're cupping it like that. But that's that. Okay, point number 2. Now we are on gravel. Gravel is notoriously bumpier. I don't know if you can tell it in my voice, but we're going over bumps. So just make sure that you've got a good grip on that mug. Make sure it's not going anywhere, and you should be good to go. Keep your eye out, especially if you're pushing someone else. Make sure you're watching where you're pushing them. So that stick right there, most of those rocks right there, certainly that bump right there, if you're not careful and you're pushing somebody, any of those bumps could lead them to capsize forward, meaning that they're going to get launched out of the chair facing forward. So don't let that happen to them. Make sure that when you're pushing, you're looking down in front of them, not just forward. So first of all, this is a difficult technique, so I do not recommend trying this the first time on the dirt, as the dirt is usually uneven, rocky, sticks in there that might hurt you. Do this on a carpet or a rug. So with that, we're basically just gonna lean forward, put your feet down first, and then hands go to the ground. The reason I did that is because I needed to get on the ground so that I could get the fire going. So we have a decent fire started, but I need to sort of work around it, so I'm going to get back into the wheelchair for that. What I would recommend at this point, if you have it, is a secondary platform. I've got this piece of wood right here. So what you want to do is sort of utilize that. One hand on the platform, one hand on the wheelchair, and then you're going to push off of this to shove yourself into the chair. Now, if you don't have that, then what I would suggest is putting both hands on the seat cushion and then sort of pivoting. Now that is a lot harder, so instead I'm going to use this secondary platform and sort of twist to get back into the wheelchair. So, like so. So first you get both platforms and then shove yourself onto the chair. And then from there, you just scoot yourself back, like so. And there you have it. At this point, we've got our fire pretty well going, so I'm just gonna sit back, enjoy it, and have a wonderful rest of your day. As we wrap up, I just wanted to highlight a couple last things for the sake of safety. First and foremost, when you're done, this is for everybody, put out the fire. In my case, what I've done here is separate out all the logs, make sure that no flames are still licking. Obviously, this is gonna be hot for a while, but make sure that you put your fire out. No fire hazards around here, folks. Second, more specifically for those of you with physical disabilities, this, first of all, this is just area that's been scorched in the past that grass hasn't regrown in yet. But basically, what I want you to be aware of is stuff like this. Be very, very careful as you're going around. Like, obviously, this applies to everybody, but for handicaps in particular, make sure that when the fire, if depending on how you do your fires, if the fire is really going, so like right now I need to get that part out again, but if the fire is really going, make sure that you're in a spot that's more or less level where you can easily get out of the way in case something goes wrong. Particularly for our friends with power wheelchairs that may be a little less maneuverable potentially, anyone that's newer to using a wheelchair, please be very careful to make sure and make sure that if the fire starts to go a little bit out of the way, then make sure you can get out of there. Make sure again that the surfaces are level. So like right now we're in a pretty level area, but if this fire was on a hill, make sure that you're say like on the bottom of the hill. If you wanted to, like if you had to fall, you're falling away from the fire, or that you're adept enough to make sure that you're able to get away from the fire, again, if you did start to capsize. I hope you all are having as good a day as I am. I hope that this was at least a little informational. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that this is all the way out now, but if you have any other suggestions on things that you'd like to see, excuse me, smoky, any other ideas on topics you'd like to be covered in the future, please leave me a comment. Again, if you'd like a mug, you saw that I was using the mug earlier. If you want a mug like that, then just, like I said, shoot me a message, give me an email, a text, something. But otherwise, thank you all very much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep rolling, everybody.